Canberra's rent reduction scheme is extended. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from All Homes discussing, well, the ACT government's extension of their rent reduction scheme through to December. So this is just one of many interventions into the market, or shall we say reduction of fees, charges, taxes, just money the government is taking from people one way or another. And they're doing this to help stimulate the economy, to help us out, which I'd say is a great thing. It's good to see. You know, even temporary reduction in taxes are a good sign. Maybe, you know the old saying, there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government program. Do you think these are temporary reductions in fees and charges? Do you think they'll become permanent? Let me know in the comments, and I'll have a shot of coffee while you write that down. Because I don't think so. Let's jump over here and let's have a look at the property council data room. We've got the median house prices for Canberra are sitting at $685,000. That's from the 30th of April. And I will bring up the residential unit values. The median in Canberra is at $440. We have the median residential house rents, and Canberra is the highest at $580. All those civil servants. You've got median residential unit rents, and Canberra is just one step down from Sydney at $480. $480. Wow. Let's just, down here at the bottom, we'll look at the property type or property industry expectations on the capital value of property by asset type looking forward 12 months. So this is residential. It's essentially the confidence. Have a look there. 30% decline. I've got to scroll up so you can see it. 30% down. Residential. Office. Look at that plunge. Retail. Down. Slightly up again. Industrial. Same thing. Look at that tick up. Not bad. Finally in positive territory, which is good to see. I can't say I'm surprised. Tourism. Slightly up. Not much. And retirement. Ticked up, but still in negative. So, let's have a look. The ACT government has extended its rent reduction scheme by a further 3 months until the end of the year in a bid to support residential landlords and tenants affected by the pandemic. The scheme, introduced in April, gives land tax and residential rate rebates to landlords who reduce rents for tenants in rental stress by at least 25%. Oh, well, there you go. I mean, good. This, the landlords are copping it. Some of them are not that wealthy, guys. You know, some of them are at the edge as well. They don't, and the state government doesn't want to see a fall in property. They don't want to see a fall in property. It's probably smarter for them to give up on a bit of land tax and pay back some rates, rather than start to see forced sales materialize. Only tenants affected by the pandemic are eligible for a rent reduction. Landlords who reduce their tenants' rent by at least 25% can receive up to $100 per week in land tax rebates. As of August 13, 759 landlords had applied for the rebate. They will have to apply again if they continue to pass on the rent reduction. The scheme was implemented as part of the city's economic response to the pandemic and was meant to last only 6 months. We understand this is a difficult time for many Canberrans, particularly those who have suffered a significant reduction in their income, ACT Attorney General Gordon Ramsay said. We are pleased that so many landlords have taken advantage of these rebates, so Canberrans that are struggling financially are not left without a home. So far, the ACT government has extended the moratorium period for rental evictions by a further 3 months to October 2020, putting a temporary freeze on rental increases and preventing blacklisting as a result of being unable to meet rent repayments. I want to remind people that this isn't a license for tenants to completely forgo their rental obligations. If you're not impacted financially by the pandemic and can pay your rent, you're required to do so, Mr. Ramsey added. All parties need to come to the table if their living situation has been disrupted due to the financial impacts of the pandemic. Let's have a look at the extension of the moratorium period. So let's jump at this article. So the pandemic-affected residential tenants offered an extended lifeline in the ACT. Now this is from July 23rd. ACT renters affected by the pandemic have been given a fresh lifeline with a 3-month extension on the moratorium period for rental evictions announced by Attorney General Gordon Ramsay. So another 3 months where you can't evict people. So the concern with that is, how's that going to affect the valuation of property? Maybe if you don't start seeing, well, this is it. They don't want to start seeing forced sales at this time while you have this eviction moratorium in place. If you can't evict people, that's going to affect your property. How is a forced sale going to go if there's someone in there you can't evict that isn't paying? How's that going to affect the value of the asset? A real estate's going to be required to disclose it. Bloody hell, you think they'd have to. On the announcement, tenants will be able to terminate a fixed-term lease without penalty. Tenants would need to provide evidence that they were affected by the pandemic. The emergency bill that has been in place since April 22nd, dubbed Residential Tenancies COVID-19 Emergency Response Declaration 2020, aligns with the federal government's promise of a 6-month moratorium on residential evictions. The moratorium period in the ACT will now be extended to this October 22nd. In addition to the moratorium on evictions for rental arrears, a COVID-19 impacted household can now terminate their agreement by providing their landlord with 3 weeks' notice and evidence that they have been impacted by the pandemic, he said. He added the new measures would allow affected tenants to terminate their leases without them needing to make an application to the ACT Civil and Administrative Tribunal. In these circumstances, tenants will not be charged a break lease fee or be required to pay additional compensation, he said. However, if they have fallen into rent arrears during the tenancy, this money would still be owed as a debt to the landlord. Other changes announced include the ability for landlords and tenants to negotiate reduced rent and relaxation on the time period for non-urgent repairs. The declaration also included changes to the way certain inspections were carried out and restrictions on negative listings being made about impacted persons on tenancy databases. The REI ACT Chief Executive Michelle Tinnen said landlords were on the short end of the new changes, noting that most cases in which the pandemic impacted tenants requested rent assistance, landlords had agreed to a rent reduction in good faith to ensure tenants could remain in their homes, and they now have no protection from further losses should tenants seek termination of a fixed-term lease under these agreements. In April, ACT Chief Minister Andrew Barr said he would drag landlords to the table if they didn't play their part in helping Canberrians through the economic downturn. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Some landlords can be a bastard, and the market will slap them in the face. You don't need the state to come and mummy and daddy us. Or maybe some people think we do. This proved completely unnecessary as most landlords were willing to assist their tenants with a reduction in the weekly rent, she said. Exactly. People want to keep a good tenant. People would rather have at least something rather than nothing. Many landlords are now concerned that with no end in sight for the pandemic, how they would be able to continue this assistance past the October moratorium date. Well, it's extended even more than that now, isn't it? The director, Hannah Gill, added that the continued discounted rents would likely see an increase in the number of landlords who will sell their properties to mitigate their losses. With the June quarter vacancy rate in Canberra at 1.4%, these sales will significantly affect tenants who are already impacted from an undersupply of affordable rental accommodation, she said. The ACT government said it would make more changes to the declaration period in the upcoming caretaker period in a bid to support tenants and landlords. So there we have it, everyone. There we have it. So the rent reduction scheme has been extended to December. We'll have to see if the moratorium is extended as well and how this will manifest in property prices in Canberra. They've got some of the highest rents in the country, as we can see here, everyone. You know, house values above the weighted average, higher than Brisbane, third in the country. Residential unit rents, unit values, they're under the average, but Sydney is pulling it up. But their house rents are the highest, and their unit rents are the highest, or second highest. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I will see you all in the next episode.